Right, this is Sheila. It's the 3rd of August. It's a beautiful summer day. And I'm visiting, I'm on the ancestral trail where I'm visiting Clare. The village of Clare. Comes from the name de Clare. One of our great-grandfathers, Richard Fitzgilbert, built this castle. He was given the land by William the Conqueror for his services during the Battle of Hastings. An interesting thing I've learnt just recently is that Elizabeth de Burgh, whose statue can be found in Borough Green, was also a Clare. She must have become a de Burgh after she married then. What's even more interesting, cusped in the hands of Elizabeth de Burgh's statue is a little sort of plaque thing which can hold flowers, and on it is William Oak, and an ancestor of William, a descendant of William, is a Grace Starling, because we've got Starlings in our family, and William Oak is also my ancestor. So I'd like to know the connection there. But Elizabeth de Burgh, who once was a de Clare, is also connected to us. So it gets more interesting. I'm climbing up now on top of the mound where the keep would have been, or the castle, top of the castle. I'm climbing to the top of the castle, everyone. I say it's a gorgeous day. I'm in this country park. I see the centre's open there. I'll go in there in a minute. Clare Park Centre. I can see a statue there. I got here early, but it's already 9:15. From 11 o'clock you've got to start paying. But I just will stay parked where I am and do the town walk. I met a girl who was very good. She gave me directions here. And there is a town trail that I should be able to complete some during the day. So anyway, this is what I've come to see. This is all that remains of the castle now. It fell into disrepair several hundred years after the de Clares sort of disappeared, after all the male heirs went and all the women were married off. But this town belongs to me. This is my town. Oh dear. It does seem hard to believe, I know it does, that we're connected to them, but I have done the work. I haven't made it up, I've done the research. And the more I find, the more it confirms everything. God, babe, must have been fit in those days to keep climbing up here, you know. They must have been very fit people, I think. Yeah, the girl said it'd be good to get up here early, before there's lots of people. You get the place to yourself for a minute. And this is all there is, look, of my Richard Fitzgilbert's castle. Oh, that's all that remains. A lot of the local homes are made of the stones of the castle. People came and snatched the stones to build their homes with. You'd think they have some sort of plaque up here, wouldn't you? You know, you've got to the top. I wonder if there's more than one way down. Let me just go around the back here. There might be a little bit more around here. Or is that another way down? Oh yeah. No, it's just more views of the castle. So my kids and my great-grandchildren's and all that to come, my descendants. This is Sheila in the village of Clare in Suffolk, tracing the ancestors. That church over there was built by the Saxons, so they didn't have to pray alongside the Normans. It's on the site of a Saxon church, that is. So this was as well, probably, and there was probably Romans before. Well, this is what I've come to see in the beautiful Suffolk countryside. This once was built by our ancestors. Well, he didn't do it himself, but he was a very powerful noble. A baron, one of the most influential barons in the whole country, if not the most influential. They had properties everywhere, including Ireland as well, everywhere. They owned everything. They were very, very powerful. And we come from that stock. It's fascinating, isn't it? Oh, I found a coin, a lucky penny. Not to be spent. A lucky penny I found up here. Better take a bit of souvenir, I suppose, from the wall. Only a bit that's lying on the floor. That's a lucky penny there. Right then, just turning off for a minute. That's part 1 of Sheila's visit to Clare. I'm doing it on cassette recorder as well, because of running out of battery and everything. So this was the part of the castle then, the last big piece remaining. Right, I'm still at Clare. It used to have its own railway station, which revolutionised life for people in the rural community. And like a lot of other places, like Cheddar down in Somerset, for example, this facility was taken away. I think a lot of people regret that facility, that now, if you consider the trouble with cars and everything. So here we have, look, where the Clare railway line used to come up into here, and it enabled people to go to Clacton-on-Sea up the road, which took off like Weston-super-Mare did. But of course Weston-super-Mare is still connected. Whereas Clare has had that cut. That would have been the old station there, I presume. Yeah, I got a picture of an old steam engine when I was in the tourist centre. Wasn't a lot in there. I don't know if there's another place. This would have been the old railway buildings. Everything's been the waiting room. Look in there. I don't know if it's open. No, it's not open anymore. Look, the old benches. I can remember waiting rooms like that in the past. Yeah, there you are. You think they'd look after it a bit more? It's still a bit derelict, isn't it? I've got a problem at the moment because I've got to get back to the car park by 11 o'clock. It's just gone 10, so I can't go wandering off too much because of that silly rule. So people like me who got here at 9 can't go wandering off for a 2-hour walk. I have to come back. These are just some of the problems you face when you're out and about. Never mind, it enables me to have a look round. Oh look, there's a lake, look. There is a nature trail. Of course, I'm not doing it all today. Of course, and the other good thing about all this is it doesn't cost you nothing. You think they would have maintained that bank, but I suppose they've maintained it in a way by letting it grow wild. All I'll do now is just investigate what's around here locally. This is just a very short video I'm doing. I'm doing little tiny videos. It's just to let you know that on the site of Clare Castle, built by one of my ancestors, Richard Fitzgilbert, a baron who came over with William the Conqueror in 1066 and was given extensive lands and extensive powers. He was his cousin. Richard Fitzgilbert was a cousin of William the Conqueror, you see. And I know it all sounds far-fetched because not everybody ended up wealthy, you see. Some of them ended up with their heads chopped off and nothing left. Let's see, there'd be a nice walk. I can't go wandering off though, let's see. That's the old railway line. There's lots of walks, there's no signs. So you could go wandering all the way up there and not know where you're going, and all the way up there. I have got a bit of a map, but I'm worried about that 11 o'clock coming round quick. The hour I've just been here has gone dead quick. There's a Brunel Bridge, a miniature one. Well, could that be part of the old moat going round, see? Right, we'll just have a quick wander up here. We can do a bit of wandering before we get stuck right in. I definitely want to visit the church in the centre of town. And just to remind ourselves that Elizabeth de Burgh, who's buried in Borough Green Church, St Augustine's, was an important person. She had control of this town, Clare, and she was almost the founder of it. And I've got my ancestor William Oak cusped in her hands. I should be bringing flowers later in the week or any time on the way back to my tent to place there. So we have got, all the time we've been reminded of our ancestors, and it's reinforced by history. English Heritage aren't making these things up, and neither am I. I'm following their guidelines all the time. And like I said, we just because they were powerful and influential, families did die out, women got married off. Women weren't that important, although she was. She was very powerful. I wonder where that goes. Let's just wander down this way. We're just a bit of wandering. We've got an hour. It's just to give us a feel of some of my walks, like I do my Somerset walks. This is my Suffolk walks. Sheila in Suffolk. And believe me, I wish I lived up here. Not because I want to get away from my kids. I don't. All my ancestry is up this way. I'd never be bored at a weekend. I would never have to think, oh, let's go for a walk to Crook's Peak because I've got nothing to do. Because everywhere I look and turn, there's my ancestors here. That's what I love about it. It's brilliant, isn't it? So what I'm doing, I'm just killing time. I'm not killing time. I am looking round, but I've got that thing. I've got to go back and put £1.50 back in the machine. It's ruined it really, because I'd like to have just put my money in for the day and taken off. I got here early thinking I could get a move on. Now I'm just hoping that if I follow this path, it'll take me back round. I might end up walking past back that way, but I might not. There's a map coming up. Oh, yeah, so like I said, there's very little left of the castle, but that wasn't the point. It was coming to see where we came from. And I got a bit of information from the information centre back there, the Heritage Centre. Just giving like tree details and things like that. Of course, she came off another. She's in the same. We share a common ancestor, Elizabeth de Burgh and me. But one of her great grandfathers, it was his brother that branched off in a different direction. Right, that's just telling you to look out for grass snakes, the great willow herb, the meadow sweet. These are some of the plants that you can see on the way round at certain times of the year. I expect I'm going on one of the nature trails. But there again, it's all part of the castle because I'm in the grounds where the ancestors would have roamed. It would have been a busy place. Lots of activity all the time. Yeah, I reckon this road here, it all leads back into Clare, see? And I probably might have to come back down here in a minute. That's the thing, because I want to get back into town. Hopefully this will take me in a full circle back to the castle. That's what I reckon it could do. It's got notice. I'm following a trail. Well, I would say I'm going right round the edge now. I'm going to do a full circle and end up. So look at that. Weeping willows. Aren't they pretty? Very pretty. Right, this is Sheila. I'm still at Clare and I've come to visit the Priory. Apparently some of the buildings are still in use by monks. It's founded in about 1243. It was suppressed in 15 something by Henry VIII, and then it was renovated or repaired in 1953, believe it or not. So we're allowed to explore the grounds and the actual church, but the Priory, when I don't know if that's a church, is out of bounds. So I presume this is the Priory. I wonder if this is the church. It's all part of our medieval history, this. This is why I'm doing these little snapshots. This is all part of our history. It's part of everyone's English heritage, really. But we've got a strong connection because of our Clare family. That looks very Eastern, doesn't it? That rooftop with the ball on top and the curves. Looks very Eastern, that does. Nice and peaceful, isn't it? I expect that used to be a fountain or something once. Something mentioned over here. Site of calfactory and stair to dormer, I suppose that might be, to cloister and church ruins. Well, that cloister on Earth's 14th century. Well, that's still used as a priory, that is. It's nice and pink, isn't it? So that people still live in there. I don't really know where I'm going. It's all sort of ad lib, really, as I go. They've thought about people with wheelchairs. There's a couple of ramps about. It's just nice to see. Site of Lady Chapel, 1361. So this could actually be the site of the church here, I thought. Piscina for altar in nave. Yeah, so the church would have been here on the structure, wouldn't it? For those just joining, this is Clare Priory. Pray for the ancestors and relatives of King Richard III and Queen Anne Neville, buried at Clare Priory. Joan of Arc, Countess of Gloucester and Hereford, died 1307. Edward Baron Monthermere, 1303 to 1340. Elizabeth de Burgh, Duchess of Clarence and Countess of Ulster, 1332 to 1363. Now we've got to be careful that we don't get muddled up because there's two Elizabeth de Burghs. One was Elizabeth de Clare and then became de Burgh. Then we got Lionel of Antwerp, Duke of Clarence and Earl of Ulster. Edmund Mortimer, Earl of March. Lady Margaret Neville. She died in 1463. This is the Richard III Society 2002. Right, I said a prayer. I'm saying prayers all the time from my Clare ancestors. Here in 1307 was buried Joan of Arc, Countess of Gloucester, daughter of Edward I and Eleanor of Castile. Not Joan of Arc, Joan of Acre, I should say. That could easily be misinterpreted. Joan of Acre or Acre. In the plot nearby are buried Lionel, Duke of Clarence, son of Edward III and Philippa of Hainault, who died in 1368, and Elizabeth, his wife, the great-granddaughter of Joan of Acre, who died in 1363. So this is, if this was the church, they've been buried somewhere here. What's that say? Sevilla, 14th century. So that's all part of the church, isn't it? This could be the altar, couldn't it? This big bit here. But why haven't they got it marked? Now the church was here. Look, there's the steps leading up. I would have thought that was the altar myself. So my De Clare family, see, would have been praying in this church when it was there. I'm glad I never missed this. I have done thorough exploration of the grounds as well, to make sure I get a feel of the place properly. And the monks still live and pray here, and they probably walk around these grounds a lot. I'd never seen a monk really. I wonder if there's any ghosts here. Bet there are. Little orchard this is, look, little apple trees. They make their cider and their mead. Yeah, it's very peaceful, isn't it? Put me tent up here. Lovely, isn't it? Nice and peaceful. I ought to be allowed. I got ancestry from here. This is my land, this is. Richard, wherever you are. My great-grandfather going back in time. It belongs to me. The thing is, people look at you as if you're mad when you tell them things like that. It's not, that's the trouble, but it's true, I'm afraid. We are connected. How the other half live. I mean, all these people in retirement are going off on their walks and flash cars, and they've got all the walking gear. And they can do this all the time. Well, I would do it all the time if I lived up here, because I'd come on my bike. I mean, the other day I was a bit miserable and I felt like going home. Well, I'm glad I didn't, because there's so much here. It makes me want to come back up here again. Oh, it really does. I feel so much healthier up here. A little bit wheezy. Alright, there's the monastery, I suppose. Was the Priory, where the monks live. That is. Like I said, I don't know where I'm going. I've got no map. I'm just sort of wandering about. There's obviously you can obviously park here as well. I wonder if that building was set on the site of the church. It could have been. That could have been built on site of the church, couldn't it? Could do with a map, really, just to know where you're going. Well, I don't know what's what, do I? How do I know where you're allowed to go? I don't know. No one has said where you're allowed to go. I don't know if this is private or what.